Linus Tech Tips coverage of CES 2014 is brought to you by NCIX.com, your source for great technology, selection, and service, along with Corsair Memory and Western Digital. We're kicking things off here in the Cooler Master Suite with the Elite 110. So if you've seen their Elite Series cases before, then you'll probably have some idea what to expect, except this one takes the concept of a super small, no compromises gaming rig and makes it, well, super small and really not that many compromises. So let's have a look at what we got in here. You can see there's the obvious stuff. So it takes a mini ITX motherboard. So it's usually 2 DIMM slots, and then you're going to have a maximum of 1 graphics card in a single PCI Express 16X slot. They've added a full-size ATX power supply, so you can actually put even quite a long power supply in here, and you'll have a fair bit of space as long as you don't also have a liquid cooling radiator. So they've gone with a V550, which is more of a normal size power supply, and then they've actually got room for a single 120 millimeter liquid cooling radiator for the CPU down below. There's also a little bit of space in between them for cable management, although you wouldn't want to make things too dense in there in order to avoid restricting your airflow to the point where it's detrimental to the system. In terms of drive mounting options, around on the other side, we find either 2 2.5-inch drive mounts or a single 3.5-inch drive mount. Then there's actually a cage for the top that can support up to an additional 2 2.5-inch SSDs. Now we can see the graphics card in there, so this is going to be optimized for your mini ITX designed graphics card. So MSI, for example, has an upcoming GTX 760 that is about the same length as a mini ITX motherboard, which would be a great option for this. So are you building, a dual Titan rig and something that's the size of a couple of shoe boxes? No. But are you putting a very reasonable gaming system in here? The answer is yes. Next up, we've got the Novatouch TKL, and the way that they are branding this is Japanese-made hybrid electrostatic capacitive switches. However, anyone worth their salt when it comes to keyboard knowledge is going to take a keycap off this bad boy and go, oh, these are Topres. So for those of you who have been begging Cooler Master to bring a Topre keyboard to market, your answers have now been prayered. Yes, that is the opposite. Your prayers have now been answered. They have just this model coming for now, although I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a full length with a number pad and, who knows what other kinds of options we might see in the future. The one really key thing about this that stands out to me is the fact that they are customizing the Topre key switches to make them compatible with Cherry key caps. So if you're really into the whole keycap modding scene, you've got a particular set of keycaps that you like and you want to move it onto your new keyboard, you want to get Topres, this is going to be a fantastic option for you. Next up, and to round things out, we have the Alcor and the Mizar. Mizar. Anyway, the point is these are 2 mice that have a very iconic shape to them. And we're going to get some great footage of these, and I would love for you guys to guess under the video what mouse you think the ergonomics of these mice most closely resembles, because that might get you pretty excited about the shape of them. There are 2 different options of pretty much a similar product, so they both have rubbery, grippy sort of sides. They're both optimized for palm or claw, or depending on how you want to hold it, whatever you want, kind of a hybrid grip. And the main difference between them is they have 2 different sensors. So they both got RGB lighting. You can change them to whatever you want. But the Alcor has a 4000 DPI Avago 3090 sensor, so that's the one that's pretty well regarded for not having any acceleration issues or anything like that. And then for the Elite Hacksaw gamers, actually this one has better rubberized grips than the Alcor. Sorry, excuse me. These are quite soft and grippy, and this one also gets an 8200 DPI laser sensor. So that gives you a little bit more compatibility with different surfaces, but of course, whether people prefer optical or laser is something that is hotly debated and definitely not something that is within the scope of this video. Guys, don't miss any of our CES 2014 coverage. Remember, our trip to the show is sponsored by NCIX.com, your source for great technology, selection, and service. And of course, our other sponsors are Corsair Memory and Western Digital. Huge thanks to those guys as well, because without all of them, there's no way we'd be able to be here bringing you guys this content.